It's such good shit!
Hey, this is Mark Rodriguez here. You're watching the Diving Cutter Wrestling Podcast, and this time we're reviewing SuperCard of Honor, and with me is...
Johnny Rodriguez. It's always good to be here in this podcast.
And Jackknives from Jackknives Reviews.
Alright, so first disclaimer before we get into the actual event. We'll be talking about some of the other stuff before we get started, but just fair warning, we did not watch the pre-show. We didn't know there was a pre-show. And it didn't start like the usual pre-show. Or I don't know, maybe if I ordered it from... Because I bought this on Fight TV. And maybe if I got it on the Bleacher Report Live, maybe I would have showed it there. I don't know. Usually when we have a AEW pre-show, it just, starts there. But here on Fight TV, it didn't start until like the actual event started. So I don't know. I guess I missed that. So we'll go over those matches real quick. But... before we get there, let's just do some wrestling news here and there. So the first big thing is all the rumors have been revealed now that Cody is indeed in WWE. He was Rollins' secret opponent. To be honest, it's kind of like the CM Punk thing where everybody was predicting he was going to be in so-and-so episode because it's in Chicago and stuff. They would have literally torn the place down if he wasn't there. I kind of feel that the whole thing with Rollins' secret opponent was so telegraphed that... If it was anyone else that wasn't Cody, they would have probably torn the house down. They're already waiting for him. But the big surprise for me is that, wow, they actually let Cody win. They didn't make him like a little bitch. And the thing that kind of bugged me is that, so Cody basically left because the whole Stardust thing. He did a Stardust post, but like angrily at the very first Double or Nothing to show he was still pissed about it. Keep in mind, there's been a couple of years he was in Ring of Honor and All In before, And now he comes back and he happily does the fucking pose and everyone cheers and shit. What the fuck is going on with you, Cody?
I mean, well, to be fair, he is in Texas, so I guess I don't know. I really don't know what he, Yeah, I mean, I'm not shocked, but I'm also like, whatever modicum of respect I even had for Cody, I threw it out the window. So I'm like, whatever with it, I don't really...
Now, what I think about this is that I want to know how did the actual audience reacted, with Cody being there, because I know that at AEW, especially lately, he's making a lot of boo, boo, boo. So I wonder if the crowd is different in WWE. I don't know.
Well, they apparently blew the house down. They were cheering like hell. Like that, also people were saying that was the best match of the whole thing. So I don't know. And it's hypocritical because these are the same people that are like who cares? Cody's a mid-card or he's whatever. No one's gonna want to see him back here. And then they're fucking cheering him like the great hero and whatever and all that. So make up your minds, guys.
Well, the funniest thing is the WWE marks are all saying. And, we're all AEW fans, so we kind of we think it's hilarious. So they go, haha, we got one of your top guys, one of your most loved performers. We got him. And I'm like, you realize no one liked him. They even made storylines about the fact that no one liked him. He was booed every time he appeared. And we're literally like, okay. Who cares? It doesn't really matter.
I've heard people say that now AEW is dying or whatever, and it's like, the pay-per-views have been better, progressively better since Cody stopped booking.
I think what it is that it's just probably, I don't know if I could say the word stands, like Cody stands or Cody fans, the diehard fans of Cody. So it's like, they're going to be his fans no matter what. He can't do nothing wrong, so it doesn't matter if he was, the AEW and now he's in the WWE, those are the blind fans that will, be loyal to him no matter what.
Yeah, but the thing is, again, Johnny, where were these super loyal stands in AEW, right? Because they sure weren't, cheering for him in AEW.
I mean, I'm sure he still had his fans. Not many people liked it, but I'm pretty sure he still had a group of fans, and I'm pretty sure that limited amount
he was popular, but it was kind of like in the same way that, and I hate comparing it to it, but it was kind of like how when Roman had just left the Shield and then they immediately gave him a push. Like, yes, he had fans, but the majority of like the actual wrestling fans hated him, not because of his in-ring talent, but because he was like just given an immediate rocket and like given a silver platter to the top of the cards. And it's just like, come on, guys, come on. We're not stupid enough to know. Like, it's kind of like someone saying, wow, you're a really good worker, you're a really good thing, but this guy, I'm gonna give him all the shot. You're like, wait a minute.
But hey, what can I say? I was wrong, right? Because I will say for the longest time, or at least whenever this rumor started, like, they're not gonna let Cody beat Rollins. I guess they did. Now Brock Lesnar or Roman Reigns is a different story, but like, holy shit, I stood corrected. They actually let him beat Rollins. Holy crap.
Now, my only thing I could think of is that Cody probably added like a lot of pressure to, you know, like he probably told Vince McMahon that one of the conditions for him to be the WWE is for him to beat Seth Rollins.
I guess. Well, remember, it's not AEW. He has no control. It's either you sign the contract or go away. You know what I mean? Like, he has no control anymore. And you'll find that out real soon in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I'm still going to give it some time to see what WWE is going to do with him. But, yeah.
For me, it just feels so weird, man. It feels so weird that he's actually back. Like, for me, it would make more sense that he was like a guest star one-time appearance to fight Rollins and whatever in WrestleMania. But, like, wow, to think he's part of the roster again and just where he's going to fit with all these people and stuff like that. Like what's this feud gonna be now? Who's you know what I mean? Like are they gonna actually have him go against Reigns or Brock or whatever? Like, it's just weird.
It just feels very weird that and maybe because this happened so recently, you know, because for example CM Punk, when he was out of the wrestling business, it's still been like a lot of years, you know, that he's been out of WWE. So, of course, when he's back in the AEW, you know, it's like a big return. It's like a big, you know, thing. But Cody basically left WWE real quick, and then he landed in the... Well, I guess there was still some time lapse, but then he landed in the AEW. But now it's very recent that he just got out of AEW, and then, he's back to WWE. Like, it's just very... It's like very random. It's very quick the way it happens. Like, it would have kind of made sense if he was actually away from AEW for a couple of long months, and then okay, maybe he decided to go to the WWE or whatever.
Well, what's really funny is the way they make it seem as though he just hasn't wrestled in 6 years, because WWE lives in this bubble that if it didn't happen there, it didn't happen. So according to WWE logic, Finn Balor had no career before AEW or before WWE. Neither did AJ Styles. Neither did Samoa Joe, which is hilarious to me. Neither did Daniel Bryan. He never had a career before WWE. That's just a straight fact according to WWE.
That's insane. So Cody just was sitting on his ass like for whatever the years of Ring of Honor and all this stuff until now, huh?
According to them, that's what they kept saying. They literally, I think at one point on the WrestleMania commentary, because my roommate had mentioned it, he goes, "Can you believe these assholes? They actually said that." I think it was Corey Graves, or no, it was Michael Cole. He actually said, "Well, Cody hasn't laced his boots in 6 years, so let's see how good he is." I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
What the fuck? What?
Yeah, I'm like, oh my god. Oh, but it's so funny. I'm just laughing so hard. I'm like, yeah, keep telling yourself that, Cole.
Because they're in the fact that he's wearing that Highlander gimmick and has the same theme and stuff straight out of AEW / Ring of Honor.
Yeah, it's just funny to me. Because it never happened. We just decided to give him a random new entrance and everything. Yeah, who thought he was this good after 6 years?
2 questions, though, with Cody's history. I'm not too familiar with his WWE history. I just remember the whole thing that he was, like, I guess, like dashing Cody Rhodes or handsome Cody Rhodes, something like that, and he got his nose busted, and he had to wear like a mask type thing to protect his his handsome face and all that junk before he did the Stardust gimmick. So number one, has he ever dyed his hair blonde in WWE? And number two, has he ever used that theme ever, or he had like a whole different theme or something?
No, and he had two, because before he was dashing Cody Rhodes, it was he was a part of a faction with it was Randy Orton, Ted DiBiase Jr. and him called The Legacy, and then he branched away from that, and then he became the dashing Cody Rhodes, and his theme was kind of cheesy, and then he did the whole Stardust thing, and then he left. So no, he didn't ever dye his hair. I think in fact he had his brown hair all the way, most of it, actually all the way through his Ring of Honor career. It was when he jumped from Ring of Honor to joining the Bullet Club. And then he was basically, because his whole American Nightmare thing came from the Bullet Club, because he was basically trying to be a evil version of his dad. I mean, you think about it, his dad was a poor man, a heavy man, and yet Cody was a rich businessman with really, like, he was really athletic. So it was kind of like a parody of him. Not parody, but more of like a flip side of it.
Yeah, that's kind of like, we're going to take your American dream and turn it into an American nightmare, so it kind of made sense.
Yeah. And then it just stuck with him. And then, so it just kind of stuck that way. And that's kind of where it's been since. But then, like, the reason his whole AEW run didn't work is because his character, like, from the get-go of when he was in the Bullet Club, it was a heel. It's a villain character, and it only works as a villain character. Without it, it's like Rick Rude being a good guy. It's like, he's not a good guy. His whole gimmick is that he'll steal your woman, he's good looking, and he's better than you. Or like the idea of MJF being a good guy. It doesn't work. The character doesn't work. Only certain wrestlers can pull off the good and the bad fluently and make it work. Like Punk is a perfect example. Kevin Owens is a perfect example. Joe, guys like that, they could pull it off. But if your character is designed to only be a villain, you can't make them a good guy. You can only make them less of a villain by making a bigger threat.
Oh, and just a random plug here and there is for people that, and I hope this is up by the time I do this episode. It might take a while. I don't know how long, but if you guys buy stuff at Pro Wrestling Tees, that's what usually happens when the wrestlers make it big and they make it out of the indies and go into WWE. All of Cody's merchandise is going to be leaving soon. I don't know how long they have. I noticed that WWE already started pumping out new Cody shirts, which is kind of weird because they're usually not that fast. Like how Pro Wrestling Tees got like 20,000 shirts every week or something. But if you guys don't want to get some of Cody's old shirts during his Ring of Honor gimmick and stuff like that, and American Nightmare and whatnot, get them now because they'll be gone, Which, by the way, I'm still waiting for WWE to make Cora Jade merchandise. Like, hello, you guys are really blowing her up to the moon and everything. Where's her merchandise? They took down all the Elena Black shirts because she went to WWE. Where is her Cora Jade merchandise? Hell, where's Kiki Dolan's merchandise? The only merchandise she has is just her, like, as a member of Toxic Attraction, like the Toxic Attraction shirt, but not her own individual shirt. Where is her merch, guys? Get on it, WWE. So I got the comparisons, and one thing we'll just kind of breeze through it real quick because all three of us didn't see them. We didn't know there was a pre-show, so just real quick. It's just because there's some familiar faces in here that I like, and I would have liked to have seen those. Maybe I'll watch them on YouTube someday, later on or something, but not now. But we had a singles match of Colt Cabana versus Blake Christian, so Colt Cabana won. We got AQA, which I really wanted to see. I didn't know she was part of this. This is so awesome. I'm a big fan. She's pretty small, like very thin, She's like a tiny thing, so she like jumps and flies all over the place, like wow, she's amazing. So she defeated Miranda Alizé by pinfall. And the most important thing here, and again, I missed this because come on, dude, Cheeseburger was there. I wanted to see him. But there was a match of the Gates of Agony, which are Jasper Khan and Toa Leona, which are being watched over by Tully Blanchard. They defeated the Shinobi Shadow Squad of Eli Isom and Cheeseburger. And like Jack Knives mentioned, one of the important things here is that Tully Blanchard started this new thing called Tully Blanchard Enterprises, and his men are Jasper and Toa, so that's pretty cool. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that here and there, or we could just start with the actual matches that we got. Oh wait, there was another one. There was a fourth one. There was Dalton Castle defeating Joe Hendry by pinfall. So what the fuck? We lost 4 matches. The fucking hell, 4 matches. And not only that, but Dalton Castle too. I got to miss him perform. He's one of the guys I remembered from back then. Holy shit. But
from what I heard, I think it was kind of, from what I could hear about the pre-show was even people behind the scenes weren't 100% sure that there was going to be one until like the day of the show, and that's why they aired it on, I guess it aired on their YouTube channel, and that's why it probably didn't air on Fight TV. So I think that it was literally like thrown together last minute, but it was cool to see the old school, like see Colt and Dalton and Miranda all in, all come back. Even Cheeseburger, that was cool. Seeing Cheeseburger back was cool. Just the idea of like all of them back together. And I'm happy. Gates of Agony are signed with Tully, because Gates of Agony are a very underused indie tag team. They're very talented. They still have a little bit of work to do as far as like they're very crisp in the ring, but it's more of like they need a little bit more of a crafting of what their characters are, and I think Tully is the perfect person to do that.
So we're going to start with the actual matches here. So the first match we had was Swerve Strickland versus Alex Zane, and yeah, what can I say? It's a pretty good match. They had a little thing in the beginning where they both kind of showed off that each other were like too quick for each other's moves and things. It was a pretty good showcase of their skills and how crazy fast they are here and there. And I mean, not much I can remember too much for the match. I do know there was a part where one of them did the like aerial like hurricanrana, but landing like outside of the ring, which drew a big pop and everything. And yeah, I mean, it was a pretty good match. In the end, Swerve won. If there's any more details you can add there, Jack, on the play-by-play. But, I mean, it was a pretty good match. It was kind of a slow match, though, I think. I think it was, like, the best, I guess, like, a good little opener to get you started before things get crazier. Because, oh, God, things got crazier as the night progressed. But, yeah, it's a pretty decent match there.
Well, I liked seeing Alex Zane, but you could tell, like I said before in the predictions video, that Swerve has slowed down his pace a lot. He used to be a lot more quick-paced like Zane. I'm happy I got to see Zane do the Crunch Wrap Supreme, because he rarely ever gets to pull that move off. And it's what he does is he gets on the top rope, does a backflip, and he lands his knees on the back of your head. It's very rare that he's able to pull that move off, but I was like, oh shit, he did the Crunch Wrap Supreme. So that was cool. I wasn't sure who was going to win. Like I said, this was kind of a coin flip. But overall, it was a great opener, and it was a great way to show off like the, not just Swerve, but show off Zane to those that have never seen him. So I thought it was a really good, solid opening for the show.
Yeah, I thought it was I would say like a good intro, like a good first match of the pay-per-view. I'm not really familiar with either of these wrestlers, but it was still a good start. It was still good. Like, I guess I would consider it maybe like a warm-up match, just to kind of get you into the mood to watch the rest of the pay-per-view. And yeah, it was still a decent match.
So let me see what happened here. Yeah, I almost forgot about the comparison. It's been quite a day, guys. So let's see here. Oh, okay. So I went for Swerve Johnny went for Alex Zane, Jackknives went for Alex Zane, and DJF went for Swerve. I almost forgot DJF put his things here since he wasn't in the actual episode, so to speak. So far that's a point for me and a point for DJF. There we go. Okay, so then the next match we had was Ninja Mac with Tully Blanchard's surprise client and all that. And yeah, I mean, you were right, Jack. It turned out to be Brian Cage. And of course, the moment I saw Ninja Mac with his little Dollar Tree store costume, I'm like, yeah, he's gonna be a jobber and all that. And to his credit, he did try to like do a backflip and stuff onto Brian Cage while he wasn't like completely ready and everything, not getting into the ring yet. But oh boy, Brian Cage caught him and threw him, you know. And I mean, Ninja Mac put up a bit of a fight. It wasn't a complete squash, but yeah, Brian Cage grabbed him in the drill claw. 1, 2, 3. He's the winner. And of course, Tully Blanchard announces that Brian Cage, alongside the previously mentioned Jasper and Toa, are part of the Tully Blanchard Enterprises. So we'll see how that goes. Any thoughts, amigos?
Nothing really. You could just. It was just. I'm happy Brian Cage is officially with Ring of Honor because when I met him, I had talked to him about I really wished he would sign with New Japan because he would be treated like a megastar. And he literally told me, he said, well, it's funny you say that because there's only been ever 2 promotions I've never wrestled for, and that's Ring of Honor and New Japan Pro Wrestling. And he's like, and I really wanted to work with Ring of Honor. So I kind of had a almost inside scoop, but I wasn't sure. I was like, oh, it'd be kind of cool to see him. But I was just thinking about that when I mentioned the prediction, but I'm happy I got it right.
Okay, so the fight was obviously a jobber, but it was still a good match just for the fact that hey, we get to see Brian Cage and we get to see how good of a fighter he is, and it always amazes me how huge he is. Like, yeah, don't mess with Brian Cage.
And this one we all get a point because we all like after seeing that Ninja Mac didn't even have an official profile or anything. Like, yeah, we all voted for whoever the mysterious person was, and obviously the mysterious person won, so we all get a point for that one. So now things get more interesting here. Now we've got Lee Moriarty versus Jay Lethal, and Moriarty's got Matt Sydal. Now, Matt Sydal was just chilling with crutches in the background. He wasn't really, like, going to interfere or nothing. He's just there, like, I don't know, getting applause or whatever. But, yeah, it's a pretty good match. It was pretty fast-paced, lots of back and forth. A lot of people, you know, doing lots of moves and kicking out of stuff you would not expect him to kick out of, which is pretty impressive. I think Jay Lethal landed like a royalty move and a lethal combination move, and Moriarty would still like kick out of it. And like I said, you guys can probably do a better play-by-play than I can. But big shock was near the end, where I believe Moriarty had Jay Lethal in some kind of hold or something that he just couldn't get out of. So Jay Lethal, quote-unquote, regrettably, we'll get into that later, regrettably, I guess as his only option, the only way and all that stuff, was to hit Lee Moriarty with a low blow and then get the pin that way. You know, while Moriarty was busy taking care of the little ones, Jay Lethal hit him with lethal injection and won the match. But of course, everybody was disappointed and stuff because what the fuck, like, you know, he had to cheat to win. And Matt Sydal got in there and got on his face like, yo, what the fuck you doing? Jay Lethal beat the crap out of him. And his manager came in. His manager was also like trying to calm him down and everything. And literally everyone was chanting, fuck you, Lethal! Fuck you, Lethal! As he was like exiting the ring. And yeah, he was really playing it up like he's like regretful. He didn't want to do it. But hey, you gotta do to win. But he didn't want to do it and blah, 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 blah. But of course, we'll find out more what happened after that later on in the night. But yeah, it's a pretty solid match. I was looking forward to this one. They really played up the thing that's kind of like a mirror match, except that Lee Moriarty kind of fights or wrestles the way Jay Lethal did, you know, more in his prime. So it's kind of interesting to see that. So, you know, pretty good match. I was entertained.
Well, the whole reason everyone was in shock that Lethal cheated is because Lethal is a part of the faction known as the Foundation with Jonathan Gresham, Red Titus, and Josh Woods and Tracy, oh god, I forgot his name, Tracy Williams. And their whole thing is using pure style wrestling and being honorable and respectful and not cheating and not using violence and stuff like that. So it was kind of like more of a shock because he was an established member of the foundation, and it was surprising because, like, yeah, you didn't expect Lethal to cheat, but he did. And then, like, he claimed to show regret, but he clearly didn't. And then that's why everyone was just in shock. It's like, what the hell? I thought it was a good match. I thought it was pretty solid. Lee Moriarty really surprised me. He's stepping up. I agree. I kind of want to see more of him, but I'm curious to see what he can do outside of, he does need to bulk up a little bit, but not in a negative way, more in like wins and stuff like that. But yeah, overall it was a good match. Didn't expect the ending, and I was very entertained by it.
Yeah, so again, I'm not really familiar with neither of these wrestlers, but they are very talented. I find Lee Moriarty to be more, I don't know, he seems to be a lot faster, more agile compared to Jay Lethal, but that's just my opinion. But yeah, I mean, he did cheated, I guess, to win the match. But other than that, I mean, this match was very good. There was a lot, of close calls, and yeah, it was a good match.
Oh God, okay, I was the contrarian. I was the only one going for Lee Moriarty, which, to be fair, he would have won if it wasn't for the low blow. So everyone else gets 1 point because everyone else went for Jay Lethal. Let me get that all in there. There we go. So then, let's see the next big match here. Where are we? Here we go. Okay, so the next big match here was Willow Nightingale versus Mercedes Martinez, and it was a match to determine who would be the interim Ring of Honor Women's World Champion, which means they'll get a title match against Joanna Purrazzo at some later date and everything. And oh God, just Willow being such a geek, because I already know how hard as nails Mercedes is. She ain't there to play around. She's there to fuck you up. So when I was watching like Willow being like, I'm gonna beat you up, like all that whatever, and I'm like, oh God, rest in peace, Willow, because when Mercedes gets a hold of you. But to be fair, it was a pretty good match. It was pretty drawn out. It wasn't like a dark match or anything. So Willow got to pull out all the stops. She got to actually get like Mercedes like upside down on the ring and roll at her like a cannonball and stuff like upon her chest, and that kind of caught Mercedes off a bit. And there were parts where Mercedes wanted to pick her up but couldn't and stuff like that. So it's a pretty good match here and there. Lots of moves that looked like they were it, man. Mercedes landed a lot of like final slams and stuff that she would still kick out of, and Willow would still hit her with hard stuff and she would still kick out of and everything. And in the end, Mercedes still got her in a submission move that Willow unfortunately tapped out of real quick. But yeah, I think she had her entire body wrenched back and everything, right? Like her body wrenched back in her arms and all that. So that was a really painful looking one. And yeah, so Mercedes Martinez won the match, but it was intense. It was pretty fast paced. It was like so many near misses or whatever here and there of what could have won. Like it really made me believe that Willow was gonna win. Like they did a good job. There were like moments I'm like, oh shit, Willow's gonna win this one and everything, until Mercedes did the submission move. But yeah, that was a hell of a match. I like that.
Yeah, it was a good match. I enjoyed it. I thought it was. I was happy with how good Willow did. I had like a. I don't know. I had like a distinct. I had a feeling Willow would win, but I guess I was wrong. But I was hoping she would. But I'm happy Mercedes won, though, because as you said before in the prediction video, the idea of Mercedes versus Diana is a way better match. I didn't even consider that. But yeah, it was a fun match, and I'm happy they got to like hug it out, and they were all, Mercedes was happy with how the match came out, and Willow was in the match, so I enjoyed it.
Hey, so I actually thought this was one of the better matches this pay-per-view had to offer. I think that both of these wrestlers are extremely talented. They're very powerful. And I'm actually very impressed with Widow. I mean, I know the Widow has her, I guess, nerdy, nice girl persona, but she's a powerhouse of the wrestling ring. I mean, I thought that she could have won this match many times. Mercedes was really close losing the match, throughout the entire fight. And I mean, yeah, both these women are powerhouses, and it's the kind of match that it doesn't really matter who wins the match because they both are equally as powerful and talented, in my opinion. But yeah, it was good. I mean, it was a good match.
Okay, so yeah, we all went for Mercedes except for Jack. So I guess we all get a point. Let me get that up here, and get that up here. Okay. So the next match is, of course, holy shit, that's wow. There were good matches afterwards, I gotta say, but this match, like match of the night, most likely, except for, I mean, we'll see. But it was a very good match. It was the long-awaited Them Boys versus Top Guys. The Briscoe brothers, Jay and Mark, versus FTR, Dax Harwood, and Cash Wheeler, with the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championship on the line. And what can I say? Like, yeah, I mean, the Briscoes are insanely fast, very talented. I do like that, since I guess Mark, was weird my name there, but Mark Briscoe and Dax Harwood were the ones that were trading barbs more over Twitter for the last couple of months. They were the ones that really got like in each other's spaces the most and everything. And yeah, they were doing all kinds of cool moves, submissions, moves off the ropes, outside of the ring and everything. They were biting each other, like both the Briscoes and what can I say? The FTR got to draw blood and get all messed up all over the place. It was just a crazy match, man. It was super hype, fast paced, like you said, Jack. I just never seen anything like how these guys wrestle with all their crazy moves and everything, and all their techniques, and the quote unquote redneck kung fu. That was kind of funny too, and everything. And but the biggest surprise for me though was I was not expecting them to win. The FTR actually defeated the Briscoes and actually got like the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championship. Like, I don't know. Like, I was like, is their house, the Briscoes, I mean, home field advantage? The crowd's going crazy. I was expecting FTR to, like, put on this epic match and stuff, but, ending up short. I was surprised that they actually won. I was like, I just stood up. I was like, holy fucking crap, FTR won. Damn. And, yeah, they got up and they shook their hands, so that was good. A lot of respect, considering how heated it was in the beginning. They all shook hands with respect, and that was pretty cool. But then again, near the end, we got the Young Bucks coming in, talking shit, insulting and stuff, and starting problems. Like you mentioned, Jack Knives, they've never been able to beat the Briscoes clean. So, of course, naturally, they come in now that the Briscoes are, worn out and whatever, and they take them down then and stuff like that. So that causes a lot of crazy shit. And yeah, so I believe Dynamite's going to have FTR versus the Young Bucks for the title, for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championship. But yeah, that was kind of unexpected, like double unexpected for me. Not expecting FTR to win, and then the Young Bucks coming in causing shit. Like you said, usually when the Briscoes are there, the Young Bucks stay away. I guess they saw their chance to do a cheap shot and they went for it,
Well, I knew this was going to be good. It was going to be a classic, but I didn't know it was going to be like an epic match. This is definitely, if you haven't seen it, you need to. This is definitely match of the year for me, at least so far. It's probably, honestly, I would say this personally is a better tag team match that they've had since being in AEW. I think this is the best match FTR has done. Because usually when they wrestle the Young Bucks, it's very spot heavy. But here it was just two guys doing their best, or four guys doing their best, like putting their best in the ring, leaving no question, just solid, just pure solid. I'm happy I got you guys to watch the Briscoes, because now you know why I say they are the best tag team in the world. Despite championships or lack thereof, These guys have been the most solid wrestling tag team in the past, I want to say 13 years they've been wrestling, but the past 10, no, the past, no, it would be, they've been here since the beginning. So I'd say the past, about 15 years. The past 15 years, they've been the most solid tag team, and they just keep getting better and better. They can, an FTR for them to be pushed to that limit and then come out the other side as champions. I'm really happy for FTR. I really, really hope AEW doesn't screw the pooch with this thing. If they just have the Young Bucks beat them and then they just carry around the belts and do gimmick bullshit, I'm going to be furious. Because what was the point? And it's funny because they even mentioned, Ian Riccaboni, the announcer, even mentioned, he even mentioned when the Young Bucks attacked them and went on the thing, they said, of course, the Young Bucks had to attack the Briscoes because they've never been able to defeat them. So he pointed it out, like he even said it. So it's kind of funny because they even said that when the Briscoes have ever been champions, they've never beaten them. So yeah, it's just funny because like it shows an interest in how much like Ring of Honor can elevate. I don't know if the Briscoes are actually still going to be signed to Ring of Honor or if they're going to work somewhere else. Rumors going on that they might sign with Impact, which would be pretty cool. But I don't know. I really don't know where they're going to go right now. I'm happy FTR, the Ring of Honor champions. I'm going to be so pissed if the Young Bucks win them. But I don't know. I'm curious to see what's going to happen. And I'm happy, literally, this definitely was it was between this and the main event match of the night for me. I think this was like just fantastic. Like I literally couldn't look away the whole time. And I was just so enthralled with how good they balanced against each other.
Well, I gotta say, this is one of the most amazing matches on the pay-per-view, just in general, but yeah, especially for this one, it was really good. I was actually a big surprise that the Briscoe brothers lost to this match because they are extremely fast, talented, and all that stuff. But it also shows that, the FTR, they're a force to be reckoned with. They're also a good tag team. And I'm actually more, hopefully they won't screw it up, like you said, Jack Knives, but I'm actually looking forward to the match they're going to have at the AEW. That's going to be very interesting. And hopefully the Young Bucks will lose that match.
Yeah, I just noticed. I remember that since we got Bleacher Report live, you can watch those episodes, Johnny.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that's one thing I didn't consider. Like, they better not do that. They better not fucking do that. Where all this shit, they won the title and they're going to drop it to the Young Bucks. They better not. I mean, the only reason I would want that is if they actually set it up for Young Bucks versus the Briscoes, next pay-per-view that Ring of Honor has, maybe, but it just would be so cheap to drop them so quick. Like, no. Now, another thing, too, I gotta say, wow, man, that was, like, intense wrestling. There was so much, like, actual wrestling in that one. So much, like, grappling and overpowering. Like, the match had it all, man. Like, it had the overall, like, grappling and reversals and trying to get out of this and that and do all these, like, moves and stuff. But you also had, of course, high-flying spots here and there. You had blood and everything. Like, they did all kinds of shit for that match. That was intense. But let's see the over-under here. I think most of us went... Did we all go for the Briscoes? I think we all did. Yeah, we all went for the Briscoes, so we all get a point.
I don't think anyone expected them to lose.
Oh, wait a minute, I'm stupid. We don't... None of us get a point. I'm sorry. Yeah, none of us get a point. But yeah, that's true. None of us expected them to lose. Like,
yeah, I was thinking, why are you going to get a point if we all lost the prediction?
Yeah, I know. Okay, so no points for this one. Wow. But wow, that just shows this pay-per-view had a couple of swerves in there. Not just Strickland. Har. So, then we had this very interesting match, which is cool, thanks to that was the other match. No, we had Red Titus versus Minoru Suzuki for the Ring of Honor World Television Championship, and yeah, it was a pretty intense match. A little shorter than I was expecting, but the only thing I found kind of funny, I think this was the match in particular, that it started kind of slow and methodical, but near the halfway point, holy fuck, someone pushed the fast forward button. These guys were trying to grapple and slam and pin and reverse and then pin and then do another big old slam, pin. It was like these guys were trying to overpower each other. It's like someone pushed the fast forward button. It was super crazy, especially because, you know, Minoru Suzuki's kind of up there in age a bit. But what did surprise me, though, I was not expecting Minoru to win. Like so fast he came in, he won, and like damn. And it was only like about a 6-minute match too. It wasn't like that long. The most I remember was that the chops, which Minoru was always like an expert with chops, and the fact that the match started kind of slow, but near the halfway point, holy shit, who pushed the fast forward button? You know, that's the most thing I remember.
Yeah. That's what happens when Menorah gets really pissed. He'll just go full throttle and beat the crap out of you. But it's interesting that I'm happy Minoru won, and they mentioned it on the commentary. This is the first title that Minoru Suzuki has won in the U.S. So it's the first U.S.-based championship he's ever won. Because every other title he's won has been European or Japanese. So it is cool that he finally won an American title.
Yeah, that's pretty good. It's pretty interesting. Yeah, I liked the match. It was short, but it went straight to the point. And, you know, Minoru, I'm sorry, I'm saying his name wrong. Minoru, you know, it was also that he won the match. I'm sorry that I'm butchering his name. It's kind of hard to pronounce. We have to say it fast. But
it's okay. Just say Suzuki.
But it was cool that he won the first U.S. title. That's pretty awesome.
Okay, so me and Jack went for Minoru, and DJF and Johnny went for Red Titus. So extra points for us too. That's interesting. Okay, so then the next match we had here, which was the interesting one because the different rules and everything, as Jack explained in the last video, it's basically, hold on, let me get the article here. It's Wheeler Yuta versus Josh Woods for the Ring of Honor Pure Championship, with one of the rules being that you're only allowed 3 rope breaks, and after that, like, they could have you in some kind of submission move or sleeper or whatever, and you can't do anything about it, you know, because the rope breaks won't work anymore and stuff like that. So that's pretty crazy. So yeah, it's a pretty intense match. It's one of the more serious ones I've seen Wheeler Yuta in, because like I said, he had a couple of solo matches here and there, but he kind of became like the replacement for Trent on Best Friends, and then he just became part of the group and stuff. So it's kind of like, I don't know, but here he got a chance to like wrestle solo, and it was way more intense, a lot of grappling and everything. It was kind of epic there. It was kind of like, whoa, because like the match didn't take too long before Wheeler already went for the first rope break, and then after like another submission type move, he went for the second rope break, which Josh Woods was already kind of you know, about it. Surprisingly, Josh Woods actually I think it was like a pinfall attempt where the only way to get out of it was with the rope break, so he got out of it, so he had one now on his side. But then Wheeler Yuta got the third rope break, so we're like, oh fuck, here we go. But surprisingly, not long after that, Wheeler actually got Josh Woods on the pinfall, and he won, which again surprised me. I was not expecting him to like win the Pure Championship. And yeah, it's just kind of interesting. It was kind of a weird thing because every person I've at least known or heard of seems to be winning in a row with these matches here. So that's kind of interesting. But yeah, I was not expecting Utah to win. And I was also kind of worried. I was really expecting Josh to just get in there and do some kind of submission or some kind of, you know, have a spot where there's some kind of submission move, and Wheeler had to fight out of it because now the rope break wasn't an option anymore. But I guess they didn't go there.
Yeah, I didn't expect Yuta to win. I was really rooting for Josh Woods. Yeah, I'm not really sure what they're going to do with this. Maybe I think they're going to do it with a storyline angle of like, since he's the Pure Champion, they're probably going to have him joining with William Regal. I'm just guessing that's the way they're going. It seems like that's the way they're going. And I'm curious as to what they're going to do with the pure title. Again, I hope it's not just another gimmick thing like if the Young Bucks win or whatever. If it is, I'm going to be really pissed because the pure title deserves way more respect than it should have. And I'm happy the match was solid. It wasn't great, but it was solid. And I'm glad Wheeler got to show off more of his skills than he ever gets to in AEW.
Yeah, I actually found the concept of the whole match very interesting with all the limitations, all the rules they have. And I don't know, it was great to see Wheeler Yuta, like you see more of his talent, more of his wrestling skills and whatnot. Like you see a much more in this match compared to what you have seen at the AEW. So I'm glad for that aspect of the match. And I think like most people, I was kind of surprised he won the match. But, it was still overall a good, decent match overall.
Now, my question is that how all matches for the Pure Blood title goes? Like, is that how all matches are going to go until whenever he drops the title? That he has to, like, the whole rope break thing?
That's how a pure match works. It works off of what makes the pure match different than any other title is one. It can only be won by it can actually change hands via count out, actually, because the whole point is so that way people can't just walk off with their title and retain. It can be changed if you DQ yourself. You can lose the title, things like that. But the whole point of it is to be a pure wrestling match. That's the whole point. That's why it's called the pure title. And generally, when there's a title. This is one thing that pissed me off about the pay-per-view. I don't know why, because every time they've done a pure match, at least recently, they have the actual brackets at the bottom, and you see like 3, and then they slowly dissolve each time each of them go. It didn't have that in the match, and I don't know why. But usually when there's a title match, it's a 60-minute time limit. Now, it's only, and if it goes after 60 minutes, then there are 3 judges in the back, 3 wrestling judges in the back that determine who is the winner based off of all the criteria of like no closed fist. You could closed fist punch someone once and you get a warning. If you do it twice, you're disqualified and fired. That was the deal in Ring of Honor. I don't know if they're going to follow that, but that was the deal. So, yeah, I'm curious. Yeah, there's quite a bit of rules, but it's designed to be as pure wrestling as possible. Now, like, you could use the top rope, you could do all that, and a rope break only counts if, like, say, you're reaching for the rope. So if, like, you lean against the rope, but then you raise your hands because you want the ref to interfere, that counts as a rope break. If you're using the rope to break up a hold, that's how it's considered a rope break. Other than that, like if you're rebounding the ropes, you can, stuff like that. That's totally fine. But generally, that's how a pure match works. And if you haven't gotten a chance, I recommend watching some of the best pure matches. The greatest one was actually the one that made Bryan Danielson's career in Ring of Honor. It made him a legend. And he fought Nigel McGuinness, which many of you may remember from the NXT commentator, the British guy. Nigel McGuinness was one of the best wrestlers on the planet for a long time until injuries he had to sideline. But anyway, him and Bryan Danielson had a pure match where Nigel McGuinness was the Ring of Honor World Champion. Danielson was the pure champion, and whoever won both belts. And it went for 60 minutes. They both bled like pigs. And then I think Nigel McGuinness wanted them to restart the match because he's like, I don't want judges to decide. I want us to decide a definitive winner. And then it went on for another 15 minutes, I think. And then, or another 12 minutes, and then Danielson made a tap, and he won both belts. But he was like drenched in blood.
Yeah, we gotta see what happens. Because, yeah, that's another concern, too, with that. Like, I wonder, Like if they'll have the belts, they just won't defend them because Wheeler Utah doesn't particularly have many singles matches. He's always just hanging out with the best friends and tag matches or whatever. So he might not get to defend the actual title in AEW or just have matches where the title's not up for it or something. I guess FTR is the most risky one because Minoru Suzuki isn't what I would call an AEW guy. I guess he's kind of a AEW cameo guy maybe, but I don't know. Just interesting. I'm just wondering if that meant that he became now a Ring of Honor guy going forward, but we'll see. So yeah, let me get the over-under on that one real quick before we move on to the main event. And oh god, that was insane. So let's see here. Try to find it. Oh yeah, all of us went for Josh Woods. DJF was the only one that went for Wheeler Utah. So no points for most of us. Okay, so the final match right here is for the Ring of Honor World Champion. Winner takes all, because one of them has, like, I guess the older version of the belt. The other one has the newer version of the belt. And it was Jonathan Gresham, the Octopus guy. I finally get to see him in the match because I've seen him. He must do a lot of indies because every week on some indie show or like the poster, he's always on there somewhere. So he must like do a lot of indie matches. But anyways, he's going up against Bandito that has Chavo Guerrero Jr. With him and everything. And what can I say? It was a badass match. It was exciting. A lot of grappling, lots of like good submissions and transitions and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool. Lots of hard hitting moves. Of course, one of the things that came to mind, because it's kind of rare, we don't see that too much in wrestling, is that Chavo was there, but Chavo was kind of playing like the heel manager or whatever he is and stuff. So there was a time where during the match, while the referee was distracted, he actually grabbed the title belt and clocked Gresham with it and everything to get like an easy pin. But Bandito doesn't want to win that way. He wants to actually win like with actual honor and everything, and he's, I guess, playing the face there. So for the first time that I've ever seen, he actually like got the ref and told on his own manager, and between him and his manager sent him away so that they can continue to fight, fair and everything. And yeah, lots of good moves, man. And then Jonathan doing that octopus like submission hold and all that. That was pretty cool. And yeah, it was a hard, long fought battle. But in the end, Jonathan won the match, and he got to unify the titles. Of course, much respect. They both got to shake hands and everything. But then we get to Jay Lethal coming back. And, yeah, so Jay Lethal came back, and now he's like full-on heel. At first, it looked like the manager was trying to hold him back, but no, manager was heel too. They were in on it for the whole time. Oh my god, we were tricked, So yeah, both the manager, I don't know his name, you might know his name, and Jay Lethal were beating the crap out of both of them, right? Out of Gresham and Bandito and stuff. And surprisingly, the big surprise for the end of the night is that Samoa Joe fucking showed up. Holy crap. And the crowd, I mean, wow, the crowd just lost it and everything. So that became like a big thing here. And yeah, he gave Jay Lethal the face off, and Jay Lethal even looked like, oh shit, who told, like, no one told me he was coming, what the fuck, So that's like a big thing there. And but yeah, but it was the match of the night, man. We were like amazed, and there was like a move you said that Gresham did that no one's ever kicked out of, and Bandito actually did, and like, holy crap, it was just amazing.
Yeah, the move that Bandito did is called the 21 suplex. That's his finisher. He does it's a rebound. He gets you on the ropes. He rebounds off the ropes, grabbing your waist and flipping you using the momentum of his rebound, and flips you into a German suplex, and then with a bridge and pins. No one had ever kicked out of that move before. So Gresham basically kicked out of his finisher. And but yeah, to see Samoa Joe return, the longest Ring of Honor world champion in their company's history, the man who's going into the Ring of Honor Hall of Fame, like, that was epic. I did not expect that. The match itself, I was so happy. It was just as good as I was hoping it was going to be. It brought up everything I could have wanted in their feud. it was a long time coming between them, but for them to finally get, get at each other and finally put on the best show possible. Bandito is a very honorable person, did not want him to deal with him. He did not want Chavo to cheat on his behalf. It was a masterpiece. It was a great match. I enjoyed it so much. Lethal turning full heel on Gresham. Also kind of sad, but also like, okay. And to answer your question, yes, Gresham does show up on indie shows because his whole thing is he wants to prove, and he is proving that he is the best wrestler in the world, period. The best technical wrestler on the planet. And by doing that, he's going to every show, fighting the best of the best to prove. He's even defended the Ring of Honor title at indie shows because he truly believes, and he is right, he is one of the best technical wrestlers on the planet. In fact, Bryan Danielson even said when he did an interview, when he came back, he says he wants to fight Gresham. He's wanted to fight Gresham. There have been 2 names on his bucket list for his return. The number 1 is Zack Sabre Jr. in New Japan Pro Wrestling, because he is the best technical wrestler in the world. And number 2 has been Jonathan Gresham. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen with. I'm happy Gresham won the title. I'm hoping to see more of Bandito. I hope he just doesn't go back to Mexico. I want to see him more on a bigger show. He deserves way more than he gets. And he puts in so much damn work, and he is legitimately one of the best luchadors on the planet. So I don't want to see him go away. I want to see him do more. I don't really want to see him in AEW personally because of the fact that they have such a huge roster, and I know he would get lost in the shuffle. But I'd like to see him maybe make a cameo once in a while in AEW would be kind of cool. But I'm really curious to see what's going to happen with him. And now that Gresham's the champion, and now that Joe's back, and all these title changes, I really don't know what to expect now of Ring of Honor. But that's the point of a revival of a franchise like Ring of Honor. That's what this was meant to be. It's a revival. New clean slate, new champions, new everything. So, yeah, I'm excited to see what's going to happen. I hope it's different, but similar to how it was. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen, and definitely Ring of Honor is going to always be in my playlist of shows to watch and keep an eye on.
Wow, what can I say? This match was extremely intense, and these are like 2 powerhouses. These are like the most technical wrestlers you can get, and there were many times that Bandito, I thought he was actually going to win the match for sure. But there were so many close calls. And, I think that what kind of interfered a little bit was Chavo Guerrero, cheating. I think if he kind of didn't interfere with the match too much with that, I actually think Bandito would have won this match 100%. But you got to also give credit to Gresham, to be able to defeat somebody as talented and as quick and as agile as Bandito. I mean, that speaks volume as well. And I kind of like the sportsmanship that this. I don't know if Ring of Honor is always like that, but at least in particular for this pay-per-view. Take note that this is actually my very first time watching a Ring of Honor, wrestling. So for me, I do find it it's kind of refreshing a little bit because a lot of wrestling shows, they want to do the whole everybody has to be bad, be a heel once in a while. And here it's kind of refreshing seeing a lot of sportsmanship in this. At least in this pay-per-view, that people actually shake hands and they hug and hey, we did a good match. That's what it is. Of course, the heel moments come with the other people. Once they win, they get in there, they do their BS, like like the what's the name, like the Young Bucks and stuff like that. But other than that, I mean, I find it very good. I find it kind of refreshing in a way. I don't know what you guys think.
Well, to answer your question, yes. There is such a thing as the Code of Honor. That's what they refer to it as. Every match, it's to begin with a handshake and end with a handshake or hug or whatever. It's meant to show respect to not only the person you're wrestling, but the industry as a whole. I mean, Ring of Honor's nickname or tagline has always been "Honor is real." And if you don't follow the Code of Honor, generally, what they do is they actually fine you. So, like, if a person extends the hand and they refuse to shake it, they actually can get fined in Ring of Honor. So, yes, their honor is real, and the respect is meant to be. It's like, hey, whatever differences we have, we're always respecting each other and what we do in the ring.
Yeah, but what about like the heels and stuff?
Heels, it's usually what they do is they do like an extended handshake and they kind of just swat the hand away, but because it touched it, it counts, kind of thing.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, well, so in other words, they can do that, but just not like the whole like hey, I'm not gonna shake your hand, turn your back or whatever or nothing.
Yeah,
they have to at least slap the hand away.
If you don't do that, if you do that, you get fined, and you don't get a small fine. It's like 15,000 or something like that.
The fucking hell.
Hey, you know what? It's important. It's a part of the show, you know? The whole, it's called Ring of Honor for a reason.
Yeah, like I said, let's see what happens. I'm looking at their shows. They're still doing those shows. So those little shows that are dedicated to like the history of AJ Styles or the history of Daniel Bryan or history of whatever. So I'm assuming that maybe they're buying time, I guess, for another month or so worth of like their previous guys before they come back with a proper show. Or until they sign enough guys or something, maybe?
I think they're doing something along the lines of they're just trying to figure out what to do right now. Again, they haven't officially signed anyone yet, so it's kind of in flux of what's going to happen. I'm really curious just who's going to get signed, what's going to be, who's going to be in charge of all this stuff, and just there's a lot of questions up in the air. Hopefully the show answered some of them, but there's still a lot more that need to be answered. All we know for sure is that Gresham is still he is the confirmed Ring of Honor World Champion. And there's still more questions that need to be answered, but I'm excited to see what's going to happen with Ring of Honor.
Oh man. So basically it was like just a miracle they were able to pull off this show at all then, in other words.
Well, basically what happened was I just forgot his name. The guy who ran Ring of Honor into the ground. Basically what he did was the reason he severed all of the contracts of the wrestlers, he fired everybody. And not just the wrestlers. He fired the wrestlers, the production crew, the announcers, the referees, the lighting crew, everyone. Everyone from beginning, middle, and end. Except for him. And that was it. And his plan originally was all he had left was the video library and he was going to sell it around. But Tony Khan, being such a mega fan of Ring of Honor, he said, I will sign the show, I will sign the rights, I will take the rights, I will take the name, I will take the show, I will take the titles, I will take everything. And I think he asked for, he did it for double the amount of what the asking price was. Because he's like, it's like an investment, and I get that. So since Ring of Honor has been shut down, that's the reason the last show was called End of an Era. And they kept doing promos. They really didn't know what was going to happen. None of the people behind the scenes knew what was going to happen. And in fact, one of the commentators, she's a wrestling podcaster, works with What Culture occasionally. She was scheduled to be announcing the guest ring announcer for the pre-show, and for the meet and greet and stuff. And they She even said she didn't even know if she was going to get a call until a month before the show aired. Like, up to that point, they didn't know. So when they say, like, oh, Tony just signed it, when they said that, oh, he just signed with, he literally had just signed with it. Like, no one knew. And no one knew what he was going to do. Was he going to rebrand it? Was he going to make it, you know, Rainbow of Honor and make it like NXT? Was he going to, you know, stuff like that. Granted, there are some characters in Ring of Honor that they're a little on the goofy side, but when it comes to the actual in-ring work, they're always good. And so right now, it's really up in the air, and Tony literally just wanted to uphold the promise that Ring of Honor had done before it went off the air, which it said, we will return in April. And that's all they said. Because that was basically the guy who ran it in the ground was like, we hope. Like, you know, that was his hope, was that by April, he would have gotten everything back in order. And it's like, yeah, no. You know, you already burned every bridge. Like, so you had the only people that they could guarantee were people that had titles, and that was it. So you've seen like Josh Woods defended a pure title in Terminus. Terminus is Jonathan Gresham's promotion that he created to help out all the people in Ring of Honor who didn't have homes, and they could wrestle and show off to people, things like that. You know, they've been going to indie shows, keeping Ring of Honor alive without compensation from Ring of Honor because it meant so much to them. So here's hoping that Tony first rewards the former Ring of Honor people, the ones who got screwed, with respect. In fact, they're even using that as a storyline in Impact, where Matt Taven, PCO, Vincent, Mike Bennett, Maria Kanellis, his wife, and Kenny King all were fired from Ring of Honor, and then they formed an evil faction and start beat the shit out of people in Impact, and they're calling themselves Honor No More. So, you know, at least they're trying to do something out of nothing. And I'm hoping that with Khan now in charge, he will re-sign new people. It won't just be AEW 2.0, you know, dark elevation turbo edition. I don't want to deal with that shit. I want it to be its own thing. Ring of Honor is too good a legacy to throw in the garbage, like the guy who ran it did. And I'm curious to see what's going to happen. And my hope, this is what I hope. I hope Tony makes Ring of Honor similar to how it was, but just different enough for people that can have an alternative to AEW and WWE, which is what it was. He can promote the hell out of it on AEW, so people that don't like it can go watch Ring of Honor. And the smartest thing he could do is reestablish with Ring of Honor a rebranched connection with New Japan Pro Wrestling, because they had a long-standing relationship, but it had to get severed before the pandemic because, you know, Ring of Honor couldn't guarantee if they were going to have any shows or anything. But that's my hope. That's what I see happening in the future. This was a good starting point for anyone who's never seen Ring of Honor to see what everyone's talking about. Like why it's such a good show, why it's so loved. Hopefully we'll get to see more things like this in the future. The one thing I do think Tony should focus on is getting a TV deal, a good TV deal for Ring of Honor. I think that's what he's probably working on now. Because if he could get Ring of Honor on like TBS or TNT, holy shit, you get so many big fans. Because the problem with Ring of Honor was always you couldn't find it on TV, and it always aired at late nights, so you could never watch it. So it was always about their marketing and their production. But if Khan can elevate it to the level of even Rampage, dude, he's got money flowing in, like instant money flowing in.
Yeah, they could do it like maybe Wednesday or Thursday. That way you have like, you know, AEW, you know, Dynamite Wednesday. Oh yeah, Dynamite Wednesday, Ring of Honor Thursday, and then Rampage on Friday. You know, that they could do that. But so as of right now, we don't know like when the next pay-per-view is gonna be or anything, right? Like it's just too soon due to how everything's up in the air.
Pretty much, it's very much up in the air. I know Tony's focusing really right now on Double or Nothing, so I think that the main focus is once Double or Nothing is set in stone, like what's going to be happening on the show. While that's going on, he's going to be focusing on how to rebrand Ring of Honor, how to revitalize it to a new audience, because that's what he's trying to do. And based on the pay-per-view buys, he did really, really well, because everyone really wanted to see this. So here's hoping that we'll get to see more. I mean, it did really. I should rephrase. It did really, really well considering it's WrestleMania weekend. I should rephrase that. If it wasn't WrestleMania weekend, it probably would have done way better. But because a lot more people were watching like the Hall of Fame, stuff like that. But I think it did really, really well. And he proved that there is still an audience for this, that there's still a lot of fans of Ring of Honor. And hopefully he brought in some new fans from AEW to check it out now that he's in charge. Apparently he also showed up on the pre-show from what I heard, but I didn't see it. So I'll probably have to check that out. If it were me, this is just me, I would say, because they've already said that Bryan Danielson, this is his final run in his career. If it were me, I would put both Bryan Danielson and William Regal in charge of Ring of Honor. But that would be me. But for the time being, if I were to give it to a person to, put it in the right way, it would have to be someone who's fresh enough in the wrestling circuit to know what's going on, but he'd have to have a lot of pure mentality to be in charge of Ring of Honor. Because one of the things I do love about Jonathan Gresham, and this is why Gresham is such a mega genius, all the women in the Women of Honor division, so all the women that had wrestled in that Women of Honor tournament, in some way, other than, I think other than Angelina Love, other than them, all of them were trained by Gresham. He actually trained the entire women's division single-handedly, because that's what he does. He's just, he lives, breathes, and sleeps wrestling, and on his off time, all he does is spend time with his wife, who's Jordan Grace. So that's pretty much it.
Oh man, but yeah, we'll see what happens, man. I hope they do a good job. I mean, honestly, I would probably be working there has to be someone working on Ring of Honor that's not Tony while he's busy with Double or Nothing. Because I'm thinking one of the best spots is, because they always advertise these months in advance, but it would be cool to have a Ring of Honor next pay-per-view or whatever advertisement during Double or Nothing, where the most eyes are on it.
Yeah, I think that would be smart. I think what they should do is, I think what they should do, their next Ring of Honor pay-per-view should be not Double or Nothing, obviously, but it should be during or leading up to the next AEW pay-per-view. So whenever that one is, I don't know what the one after that. What is the one after Double or Nothing? Isn't it
I think it's Full Gear.
Yeah, Full Gear. So Full Gear is like 2 or 3 months away. So let's say, or 2 months after, 2 or 3 months after. So let's say the month before Full Gear, then they could have the returning show of Ring of Honor. You know what I mean? Like, do it like that. Like, that would be smart.
But wow, that's like a whole lot of stuff. So we're basically at the starting point of a whole new era for Ring of Honor and everything. So this SuperCard of Honor was basically their Double or Nothing, or their All In, basically.
Yeah, it was their Double or Nothing, their reboot of the whole series, their reboot of the whole franchise of Ring of Honor. and hopefully we get to see more of Ring of Honor. And I'm just curious to see what's going to happen with the new company. I mean, it's technically the old company, but it's new, so I'm curious to see what's going to happen with it.
Yeah, and I just hope they don't do it too much. Like, I know they're technically two different companies, but they're still, you know, I guess owned by the same guy, whatever. I hope they don't do it in a style that there's, you know, a pay-per-view every month, because it's either an AEW one or a Ring of Honor one. As long as they space them out enough still, I mean, that'll be cool. I'll be able to watch the Ring of Honor ones, because I'll always put kind of a bit more focus on the AEW ones. But yeah, as long as they don't like bombard us with way too many pay-per-views, which is the problem with WWE, yeah, I'll be sure to catch all of these.
Well, Ring of Honor has always spaced out their pay-per-views similar to AEW, so it'd probably be more like I said, I think if they did it like whatever month AEW does a pay-per-view, maybe like the month before Ring of Honor should do one, something like that. If they did it like that, I think it'd be more manageable for wrestling fans. And the crazy, let's have one every week or every other month, and then like let's have one every month, and then we'll have 3 every month. And well, it's like that's way too much to ask of people.
Well, I think that yeah, this is a good fresh start for the Ring of Honor under new management. So let's see what it's going to be interesting to see what they're going to do with the, I guess, revamped Ring of Honor. And so far, I enjoyed this pay-per-view very, very good. It was a very good, excellent pay-per-view. So yeah, let's see what happens next. You know, let's see what Tony can do about this one. You know, but I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, so on that note, I guess it wraps up this particular episode here. I think we kind of went over a lot of the stuff here. And, let me get the over-under on all this real quick. Because I don't think we didn't discuss who won or who lost this event here. So, oh god, okay. So Johnny and I went for Bandito, and you and Jackknives and DJF went for Gresham. So I guess an extra point for. So basically, in the end of everything, it looks like DJF got the most points. He got 6 points. While me and Jackknives both got 5 points each, and Johnny surprisingly got 3 points, because Johnny's usually, like, even though he doesn't know the guys or whatever, he somehow gets lucky and always gets a lot of points or whatever. But this time Johnny is the loser and all that, so I don't know. Johnny will be forced to watch WWE or something next week or something. That'll be that's punishment enough, right?
No.
But yeah, that's what we got to see here, guys. So this is like the new world order, the new reboot of Ring of Honor under new management, new wrestlers here and there, a bit of crossover and stuff like that. And let's see what happens. Let's see what goes on. The next pay-per-view, like we said, now every week they're having like these little like the best matches of like the Hall of Fame, showing all the different people like Daniel Bryanson. I wouldn't be surprised if they do one for Jay Lethal too and stuff like that. But I guess to buy time before they could do a proper show, and we'll see whenever the next pay-per-view goes on. And as long as we don't get too bombarded with this, we'll be sure to cover both AEW and Ring of Honor reviews. So that is something different for you guys. If you guys don't want it to be like just AEW show, which it kind of sort of is. Now we got Ring of Honor too, so that's kind of cool. Gotta expand our horizons, you know what I mean? So, any final words, guys?
I enjoyed this pay-per-view, and you know, my personal opinion is that I think that Ring of Honor can work, but they might have to do a little bit of they might have to, you know, added a little AEW guys here and there, little cameos once in a while, just kind of, I don't know, bring the new fans in. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, but Jack Knight's brought a good point. I hope they don't disrespect the titles and stuff, but we'll see.
I'm excited and curious and happy Ring of Honor is back. And I'm glad more people got to see Ring of Honor and hopefully got to enjoy it. I hope it gets more fans. I hope it gets more people to get their eyes on actual wrestling, not gimmick bullshit, because I don't want to deal with any more. I know he's popular, but we don't need a whole promotion of Orange Cassidy's. It's just, focus on the wrestling for me. And that's what Ring of Honor does best. And I'm happy it's back. And I'm hoping to see more from it. And I'm hoping if Tony is as big a fan as he says he is, he knows what Ring of Honor fans want. And he can use that knowledge to make something that everyone, not just Ring of Honor fans, but everyone can enjoy.
Yep. So let's hope we don't get outlaw. What do you call it? Outlaw macho bullshit. Or I think Cornette's gonna have a cornery. He won't be able to handle 2 shows, 2 brands with that. You know what I mean? And everything. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. So anyways, guys, this has been the Diving Cutter Wrestling Podcast review of Ring of Honor SuperCard of Honor 2022. This is Mark Rodriguez signing off here.
This is Johnny Rodriguez.
And this is Jack Knives from Jack Knives Reviews.
See y'all next time, guys.
See you next time, guys.
Later.